Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at sketching quadratics. Now, this is the video that is the culmination of a bunch of the other concepts, such as finding your x and y intercepts, finding your vertex point, of course, finding the direction of your opening as well. These are all very important things when it comes to sketching your quadratic. Think of it like Power Rangers making the Megazord. So let's take a look how this looks like. So for example, I always like to go with examples. Let's say we were working with the equation y is equal to 2x squared minus 12x plus 16. And I'm telling you to sketch. When the question is asking you to sketch the quadratic, you need to find a couple of important things. The first thing would be the direction of your opening. Now, if you'll remember, direction of the opening comes from looking at your very first number, in this case, positive 2. Because it's positive, I know it's going up. And if it's going up, I'm dealing with a minimum. Next up, we want to find our intercepts. Okay, so we'll start with the y-intercept because that's the easier one. Because the y-intercept, when it's given to me in standard form, is always going to be the very last number. So my y-intercept should be equal to 16 in this case. As for the x-intercepts, remember you're going to make y equal to 0. And you're going to fully factor that equation. I know it's divisible by 2, so I'm going to take out the 2, leaving me with x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay. And then I know that I can factor this out into x minus 4 and x minus 2. Negative 4 times negative 2 will give me positive 8, and if I add them together, I'll get negative 6. So my x-intercepts in this case are going to be 4 and 2. Okay, so we've got our y-intercept, we've got our x-intercepts, and we have our direction so far. One last thing you're missing is your vertex point. All right, so for your vertex point, you can find it either of ways. You can either get the average of your x-intercepts and then substitute it into your equation to find your y, or you can use the minus b over 2a equation. In this case, because I've already gotten my x-intercepts, we already did that work, it's easy enough to solve it out the rest of the way. So let's find our average, 4 plus 2 over 2, which should be 3. This is our axis of symmetry. Or my agent of shield. You're going to substitute it into the equation, so y is equal to 2 times 3 squared minus 12 times 3 plus 16. If you're doing your calculation correctly, you should get y is equal to negative 2. So we have a vertex point at 3, negative 2. So I have my important points. Next up, we sketch. So when you're sketching, the first thing you want to do is you want to make a grid. you want to make your x and your y. So let's use this nice handy dandy straight line feature here. Should make this easier. There we go, that's my y. And let's go again. Should always be using your rulers here. All right, so I know that this is my x and this is my y. So let's start plotting those important points. So first and foremost, I know my y-intercept is at 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So not enough if I do it with the full black split. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So y-intercepts right there. And my x-intercepts are at 4 and 2. All right, so 4 and 2. So 1. Let's use the same theme here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 4. Actually, for this one, it's easier if we spread it out a bit more, make it look nicer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't have to use the same scale on both. So 2, 4. And I know my vertex is at 3 and -2. So 1, 2. I have my important point, and I know my direction is going upwards. And this makes sense because there's no point underneath my minimum point. So let's draw our curve. Bear with my bad curves here, sorry. Yeah, you really don't want to put your arrow too early. Now, one thing you always have to try to do is make sure that this does not look like a V. You want it curved, okay? Not a B. Yeah, that was terrible. But the point came across. And that is my fully sketched quadratic using everything we've learned. Obviously, if the a value was negative, it would be going downwards and you'd be dealing with a maximum. But otherwise, the steps do not change. They are the same each time. Now, there are some practice problems I've given for this, so please make sure you're working on them. I hope that this video has shown the concept through and through. And if you have any questions and concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful day.